Alright guys, welcome back to Survival Living. Today we're going to go over emergency shelters. One of the quick and easiest ways to carry a tarp in your bug out bag. Now I made sure I picked a bright blue one so it picks up well on the camera, which I don't usually keep in my bug out bag. I like an camouflage one or a dark green with a brown on the back side. It blends in very well, so either one of those is what I prefer. Now if you're looking for backpacking or something like that and you are going, today's society where it's nice and safe, you want a bright tarp. That way if you have to use it, you're easily identified by helicopter or emergency personnel. But in a SHTF situation, you don't want those bright colors, so we try to keep green, brown, camo as far as our tarp colors. That way we would blend in better. Now we got a blue one here. That way it shows up good on the camera, like I said. Now we're going to go over a couple steps. They're real simple, but it is using a tarp and just your basic stuff you usually keep in your bug out bag. And surprisingly, there's some people that don't know how to set up a tarp for a shelter. So this video is for you guys. I would just go over a couple steps with you. Real simple. That way you have the knowledge. That way if you ever need to use it, you know how. I'll show y'all. It's using this rope here for a backbone for the shelter. What we're going to do is we're going to tie it up into the tree, shoot a line down and stake it into the ground. Then we're going to drape our tarp over, anchor it. It's real quick, real basic. So let's go ahead and run this up here and we'll go over the how-tos on this one. I know, it's a lot of work, right? Well, I coil up my rope a certain way because if I do it the other way and just loop it over in my hand like this over and over and over again, by the time I get out of my bug out bag, it's all stupid looking. So let's go ahead and do it this way. Doesn't matter what type of knot you tie up in here to cinch down your rope. Of course, regular slip knot will work. You just want to bite down on that tree so it doesn't give or slide up and down. We've had a lot of rain here, so I'm kind of like in the marsh right now. Alright, so we got our height. Really don't need it higher than yourself. Just depends on how far back you want away from the tree. I mean, you could actually run this line up higher if you want to. I don't recommend it because your tarp's not that big. Alright, so in your survival situation, you'd want your line lower to the tree and the front of your tarp close to the trunk. Okay, but I've got a marsh pit over here on the ground, so we're going to pull ours back further just so I can show you the setup on it, and we're going to stake this down to the ground and pull it taut. Okay guys, when you find your distance from your tree base there where you tie it off, take your stake. Me personally, I carry a cheap hammer. I don't know how many ounces this thing is. It's 1 pound, 16 ounces. Alright. Doesn't weigh much to me in my backpack, but if you followed my career choices, iron worker and welder, which I am not able to do anymore, the gear I carry daily, 8-10 hour days, is about 70 pounds. That's with all the bolts, the impact guns, spud wrenches, all that good stuff. So my pack weighs a lot because I'm used to carrying a lot of weight. So adding a hammer is a good idea. You can use a stone, a log, whatever, just to beat down your stake, because this here is going to have a lot of pressure on it. Of course, this wood is not as sturdy as I would like. Got it kicked off at an angle. That way it helps hold a lot more weight. Alright, now you do want this tight as possible without ripping it out of the ground. And just any type of knot you want, as long as it's secured and it holds, you'll be okay. So I still have trailing of my rope going out that way because I don't want to cut this rope. But let's go ahead and get the tarp and we'll set this up. This here is going to be our ridge line, our backbone of this tarp. Our tarp's going to lay over top of it. So let's go get the tarp. Now what I'm doing is find the center of the tarp itself, which is usually marked by one of these little round dogs there. I want to get this close to the ground back here. It does not have to be directly on the ground, but I do want it close. I don't want to lose our hammer out here in this marsh. Obviously this is not an ideal location because of the wet land here. There's a creek in the back, and when it rains, it ever floods. This back part of the yard does get full. Alright, so let's go ahead and run knot right here. Does not have to be cinched up tight. I'm just putting a loop in this one. Well, if I can catch the string there. I'm just going to put a loop in this one and slide it over the stake. Just like that right there. Alright, now let's go do the same thing on the front side. That way when it pulls, it'll be taut. Alright guys, same procedure up here. So go ahead and pull your tarp up nice and tight. Alright. Now I'm going to go ahead put a knot up here so our line will not slide. Pull that tight. Reverse knot on that so it meets the same. Keep from sliding down the ridge line here. Alright, now we got the main part down. Now we got to send out our kickers and stick those down so we have a place to go in, and the rain, when it comes down, it'll run off the top. As far out as I can, about right there. Still trying to keep it somewhat squared off. It will pull up, and I am getting soaked. I'm going to pull my stakes a couple inches back away from the tarp itself. I'm going to put these in, and again we're going to angle them out. Alright, now using our cordage, basic knot. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Even a double granny knot is going to work on this. Alright, I like to loop around the stake when I am tying up, and then I loop underneath just to keep that thing bit down so it does not slide. I pull my other slack up, tighten that up right there. And again, do the back side first, then work my way forward up to the top. That way I have a good run off here. Alright guys, so I left this last stake loose just so I can flip this back and show you what's going on in here. Alright, so we kept a low profile. That way it's easier, not as easily seen, especially if you have the correct color tarps and stuff. You can actually blend in more into the environment with this. This is just basically a wind guard. This is just to keep the rain directly off of you. I don't know if y'all can see all the water here. Like I said, we got a creek right there when it overflows with the rain. All this stuff back here. But this one here would stake down too. Now you can get this close to the ground if you want to. I usually leave mine open like this. But this is one of the easiest ways to set up an emergency shelter. So obviously this thing is not ideal for long-term use as far as being cramped. But hey, you could use it long-term use. I mean, you can actually shut this flap down here and give you just a smaller entry point, exit point on this. Helps block out the wind. You can then pull that last stake up on the other side and bring the entire front end closed if that's what you want. Depends on how your rain's coming in. It's just a way to keep you out of the elements, okay? That's what this particular setup is. Hopefully you found this very informative. Hopefully we'll be able to do some more. There's a lot of different ways you can set these things up, guys. So I'm going to work on a couple more videos and hopefully be able to get them out to y'all on a timely manner. Doing my best, guys. Again, I want to thank everybody that has donated to our GoFundMe page. I did put the link up in the description box for y'all. Also, everyone that's been helping us out through our affiliate programs like Legacy Foods for Legacy Food Storage. That helps us out a lot, guys, and I do appreciate that. You know, it's one of those things I'm going to continue to mention because, one, I do stand behind Legacy Foods. I like Legacy Foods. I like Mountain House. I like a bunch of the other products. Augustin Farms, we have a lot of that. All right, that was my first buy-in on long-term food storage was Augustin Farms. I like Legacy because I like the flavors. 25-year shelf life. I mean, can't beat that. Mountain House is a good product, guys. It's quick, easy. It's just to me a little bit more spendy than Legacy, to be honest. I mean, I get more bang for my buck with Legacy, which isn't that much of a difference between Mountain House, but the flavors that Legacy has, I enjoy a lot. Anyway, guys, I hope everybody out there stays safe, especially with this bug floating around. I hope everyone has food put back. That way, if you feel the need that you have to shelter in place, you have the means and ability to. Just be safe out there, guys.